The global community has a job to do to save the planet from climate change. That much is clear from the COP27 summit in Sharm-el-Sheikh. On the eve of the meeting, the UN warned that there's no credible pathway to 1.5 degrees in place, the figure agreed at the UN's Paris summit in 2015. It calculated that the world is on track for a temperature rise between 2.4 and 2.6 degrees by 2100. In the parallel G20 summit in Bali, world leaders agreed to address this by pursuing efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees. Given this, there will likely be growing pressure on business leaders to deliver on their promises to meet ambitious net zero targets. With a war in Ukraine, roaring inflation, and a post-COVID supply chain crisis, this is a daunting task. So what can they do? As I explain in my new book, Profit from the Source, business leaders should get to know their most important suppliers. Why is this? It is because these vendors can help them solve the problem of the two Cs, costs and carbon emissions. In a cost crisis, companies often take a transactional approach to their suppliers, terminating their contracts in a bid to make savings. This may be understandable. After all, payment for goods and services provided by the top 20 to 40 suppliers accounts for around 50% of a typical company's budget. But while it is certainly true that savings can be found in the supplier budget, it is a big mistake to take a transactional approach. Instead, business leaders should take a relational approach. If they do this, they can cut costs and cut carbon emissions in one go. We have worked with several companies that have adopted what we call a 360-degree program. A business leader writes to the CEOs of the top suppliers demanding double savings. In other words, if the savings targeted 2% one year, they would target 4% the next year. In return, the customer offers a wraparound package of business support, hence the 360-degree tag, and as a part of the package, companies agree to work together on joint projects, including the reduction of carbon emissions. In our experience, 2/3 of suppliers agree to this kind of arrangement. But you may ask, why does this help companies deliver their net zero promise? The reason is that a company's suppliers are the biggest contributors to its carbon footprint. Research by the Boston Consulting Group, produced with the World Economic Forum, found that 8 supply chains account for more than 50% of global carbon emissions. And these are food, construction, fashion, fast-moving consumer goods, electronics, automotive, professional services, and freight. Business leaders can cut costs and carbon emissions. If they haven't already done so, they should start today. I'm Christian Schuh, and this has been a new segment of my channel, Procurement in the Park. Thank you for watching, and if you're a first-time visitor, please hit the bell and subscribe. Bye.